Ethan Cole almost missed it, buried beneath a stack of unpaid bills and advertisements on his doorstep. Unlike the rest, this letter was sealed with an old-fashioned wax stamp. Its deep crimson color stood out against the dull gray of the storm. He hesitated before picking it up, feeling the weight of it, heavier than paper should be. Inside, the message was written in precise, almost elegant handwriting. To those who seek the truth, the Hollow Pines Asylum awaits. Come before midnight. Enter through the eastern gate. You have been chosen. There was no sender's name, no explanation, only those chilling words. Ethan frowned. Hollow Pines. He hadn't heard that name in years, yet it stirred something deep in his memory. A place whispered about in hushed tones when he was younger. An asylum abandoned after unspeakable tragedies, locked away from the public, its gates rusting beneath overgrown vines. The story went that in 1976, the staff and every patient inside, over 200 souls, vanished overnight. No bodies, no evidence, only silence. The government closed the building and declared it unsafe. But the locals knew better. They said Hollow Pines was cursed. Ethan wasn't easily shaken. He made his living as a paranormal investigator, or at least that was how he branded himself on his modest YouTube channel. Most of his work was debunking creaking houses and fake ghost photos. Yet here in his hands was something different. The letter felt personal. He should have thrown it away. But something inside whispered, "This is the one." The storm outside thickened as Ethan packed his gear. Flashlights, cameras, batteries, and an old recorder that had picked up more whispers than he cared to remember. He tucked the letter into his jacket pocket. By the time he reached the outskirts of Hollow Pines, the rain had turned into a cold mist, curling through the trees like skeletal fingers. The asylum loomed in the distance, a black silhouette against the night sky. The eastern gate was just as the letter said, half buried in weeds, chains rusted but broken, as if someone had been waiting for him. And he wasn't alone. 3 figures stood near the gate, their flashlights flickering in the mist. A woman with auburn hair pulled into a braid, clutching a thick journal to her chest. A tall, muscular man with tattoos running down his arms, shifting nervously as if expecting something to leap from the shadows. And another man, lean, glasses fogged, adjusting the strap of a heavy backpack full of equipment. They turned when Ethan approached. "You got the letter too," the auburn-haired woman said, her voice steady but wary. Ethan nodded. "Looks like it. I thought it was some kind of prank. Does this look like a prank to you?" The tattooed man muttered, gesturing to the towering asylum gates. His voice had the edge of someone ready to turn and run. The man with glasses pushed them up his nose and said softly, "If we all got the same letter, then it means something or someone wanted us here at the same time. That can't be a coincidence." They exchanged uneasy looks, 4 strangers drawn together by the same cryptic invitation. The auburn-haired woman spoke again. "My name's Claire." Journalist, she lifted the leather-bound journal in her hand. "I've been researching Hollow Pines for years. I never thought I'd actually stand here." "Marcus," the tattooed man said reluctantly. "Ex-military. Don't ask why I came. I'm still figuring that out." "Dr. Oliver Grant," the man with glasses said, extending a hand. "Psychology professor. My work involves studying the human mind and its response to trauma. Hollow Pines is the ultimate case study." Ethan shook his head, half smiling. "Well, I guess I'm the odd one out." Ethan Cole, paranormal investigator. Claire raised an eyebrow. "So we've got a soldier, a professor, a ghost hunter, and a journalist. Almost sounds like the setup to a bad joke." "Or the start of a nightmare," Marcus muttered. Lightning cracked overhead, illuminating the asylum gates. For a split second, Ethan thought he saw a figure standing in one of the broken windows watching them. When he blinked, it was gone. The gates creaked as Marcus pushed them open. The sound echoed into the night like a scream. The courtyard was overrun with weeds, statues crumbling beneath moss. The building itself loomed above them, its many windows like hollow eyes staring down. The front doors, tall and rotting, were already ajar, as if expecting their arrival. "Place has been abandoned for decades," Ethan said quietly, raising his camera. "But why does it feel like it's been waiting?" No one answered. Inside, the air was thick, stale, carrying the faint scent of mildew and something else, something metallic, like rust or blood. Their flashlights cut through the dark, beams landing on peeling wallpaper, overturned wheelchairs, and old patient charts scattered across the floor. Claire scribbled notes into her journal, her breath shallow. "It's all exactly as the report said. But the energy in here, it feels wrong," Marcus finished. He gripped the strap of his backpack tightly, scanning every shadow. From the corner of his eye, Ethan thought he saw a movement, a shadow slipping around a corner. He turned sharply, but there was nothing there. Dr. Grant's voice trembled as he spoke. "Places like this, they hold memory. Trauma doesn't just vanish, it lingers. It feeds." "Feeds on what?" Ethan asked. Grant looked at him, eyes wide behind his glasses. "On us." They pressed deeper into the asylum. The halls twisted like a maze, doors groaning as they passed. In one room, they found a rusted gurney with leather straps still attached, the stains on its surface too dark to be rust alone. In another, shelves of patient files, names, and faces staring back at them from yellowed photographs. Claire flipped one open, her hand trembling. They weren't just patients, they were experiments. Suddenly, the recorder in Ethan's pocket crackled to life. A voice whispered through the static, so faint, yet so close. "Welcome back." The group froze. Marcus swore under his breath. "Tell me someone else heard that." Ethan's hand shook as he lifted the recorder. It wasn't playing before. I didn't even turn it on." The whisper came again, clearer this time. "You shouldn't have come." The temperature in the hall plummeted, their breaths fogged in the beam of their flashlights. Somewhere in the distance, a door slammed shut. And then, faint but undeniable, came the sound of footsteps. Not theirs. Someone or something was walking the halls with them. The footsteps echoed through the corridor, measured and deliberate, as though whoever or whatever walked these halls knew exactly where they were headed. Ethan raised a hand, signaling for silence. The four of them held their breath, flashlights trembling as beams cut across the cracked walls. "Stay close," Marcus whispered, his voice low but steady, the way a soldier should be. They moved as a unit down the hall, the sound of their own shoes crunching against broken glass and debris mixing with that other set of footsteps. Always just ahead, never behind, like bait drawing them deeper. Claire scribbled furiously in her journal, words jagged with panic. "This doesn't make sense." The place was abandoned. We all read the reports. No one's been here in decades. Dr. Grant adjusted his glasses, his forehead damp despite the chill. Abandoned buildings are never empty. They absorb what was left behind. Sometimes grief, sometimes rage, sometimes... He trailed off, unwilling to name it. "Sometimes what?" Ethan pressed. Grant's lips tightened. "Sometimes... hunger." They turned a corner and entered what must have been the main common room. Broken chairs lay scattered across the floor, dust motes swirling in their flashlight beams. Faded murals stretched across the walls, smiling doctors painted in cheerful colors, patients with wide vacant eyes painted in unnatural shades of blue. At the far end of the room stood a grand piano, its keys yellowed, its surface warped by time. As the group entered, a single note rang out. Plink. Marcus raised his weapon, a small pistol he'd insisted on bringing despite the warnings. That wasn't the wind. The piano echoed again, another note, then another, forming the first bars of a slow, broken melody. No one stood near it. Claire's knuckles whitened around her journal. It's like it knows we're here. The music stopped abruptly. Silence fell, heavier than before. And then, laughter, childlike, faint, from somewhere behind the piano. Marcus strode forward, weapon raised, but when he reached it, the space behind was empty. Dust lay undisturbed. They didn't speak of it. Instead, they pressed onward, deeper into the asylum. The hallway seemed to change behind them. Doors they passed earlier were gone. Corridors stretched into darkness where walls had been. Claire's journal pages filled with frantic sketches, arrows, hallways, door frames, as she tried to map their path. But the more she drew, the less sense it made. "This isn't possible," she whispered, flipping back through her notes. "The asylum, it's rearranging itself." Grant placed a trembling hand on her shoulder. "No, it isn't changing. We are. The asylum is inside us now." Twisting how we see, Ethan's camera shook in his hands as he filmed, his instinct to document everything fighting against his growing fear. "If this is some kind of trick, I swear." "Shh," Marcus hissed, raising his hand again. From ahead came the sound of voices. Not whispers this time, but full conversations. Dozens of them, layered over one another. Some crying, some screaming, some pleading for help. They followed the voices into a large ward. Rows of rusted metal beds stretched into the shadows. The sound grew louder, though the beds were empty, sheets shredded by time. Claire pressed her journal to her chest, her breath quickening. "It sounds like patience,"